Today I have some kerosene lanterns that I am going to attempt to light. These types of lanterns are new to me. I have a lot of Coleman gas lanterns. I got this one for Christmas from my parents. So this one looks like it's in pretty good shape, but we're not gonna mess with that today. It even has the original glass. I have a railroad lantern. I've had this one for a while. This has paraffin oil in it, so we're going to see how it looks with the paraffin oil. And this is a lantern made by the Ohio Lantern Company from Tiffin, Ohio. The glass is not original. This is Dietz glass, and the burner is also not original. So it's kind of a mixture of pieces. This was given to me by some family, and so I'm going to attempt to light it. I've always wanted a lantern like this. I've just never really got to use one. So I've done a little bit of research online, and I was told to use this Klean Heat, so we're going to use that for our fuel. And I picked up some wicks. These are just cheap wicks that I picked up on Amazon because I'm new to this. I know there's better options from what people have told me, and so maybe once I figure it out I will convert to those, but because I'm trying, this is what I'm going to start with today. And so let's start real quick with this railroad lantern. This has paraffin oil in it, so I'm going to just light this and see how it looks. We'll also come back at night and see how bright they are. I've always liked this lantern, but it must be the paraffin oil, but it always has a lot of smoke. Right now it's up really high. So I have to keep it really low if I don't want it to smoke, and it doesn't create much light. I know it's really bright right now to be able to see, but that's my railroad lantern. And I've always liked this because I've always just liked lanterns, and I've always just liked fire. So maybe we'll be able to convert this one to kerosene later today. So now let's come focus on this Ohio Lantern Company. It has an automatic lift, which means when you open the top, it's going to lift automatically. It's pretty cool. This one's pretty old, but it's in really good shape. I know the glass, like I said, has been replaced. It says Dietz number 0 tubular glass F, and then on the back there's no markings, but pretty simple. We're gonna open it up. I haven't even touched it since I got it. I think there's some wick in there, but let's open it up. And I can really smell the paraffin burning. I always just assumed it was paraffin oil that we're gonna put in here, but you know, the internet can be helpful, so I learned. So let's see how we're gonna open this up. There we go. Let's see what we got. So there is a wick in here, got about that long. There's no markings on it. This one, you know, has a red line down the middle. Maybe we'll use the same one. Let's see how well this turns. There we go. Another thing I have is my wife's kitchen shears, because I think that's what this is for, cutting one. And we're gonna do straight across. I've seen where you can cut the corners, make a point. Maybe we'll do that later, but we're just gonna start with this. There's a little bit of rust in there. Let's check the bottom. No holes, so that's good. So it should hold some fuel. So I have my kerosene odorless heater fuel. I'm just going along and doing this with you today. And I'm gonna pour some in here. Let's open up this, make sure this works. There we go. We've got our opening. Looks like the little rubber gasket's kind of falling apart, but we're gonna fill this up. I can't find my funnel, which is super annoying. So I'm just gonna try to pour it in and see what happens. So now that we know that there's a wick in here, we're gonna use this one actually and see if we can get it to work. We will just put that back in there, and then we will fill this up with kerosene, and then we will light it. Like I said, I am in no way a professional at this, so hopefully this finds the right people and they can teach me more how to do this better, because the internet's usually pretty good at telling you what you're not getting right, so that's fine, because I know I'm not doing all of this at least the most fast way. And we'll put that on there. So I've got the wick right here, and when I twist it after I've cut it, I can't really get it to go all the way around. So it's kind of getting stuck. So maybe I will use a new wick, or else it's just gonna need some lubricant in there to get it moving again. So I can kind of spin it and then it gets stuck on the inside. Let's see if putting a new wick in here will make it churn any better. So it's spinning in there. So we'll put this new wick in. I can still smell that paraffin train one burning. Oh yeah, that's moving a lot smoother. So we're gonna use this new wick, and we'll just cut it about there. And we will come put it back in the bottom of our lantern right here. And then we'll put the lid on like that. And now let's put some fuel in here. Like I said, I don't have my funnel, so let's see if we can slowly do this. So as I poured it, I did spill a little bit, so I'm gonna put my cap back on here. We're gonna let this dry out just in the sun before we put some flames around it. And it will also give the wick some time to get some of the kerosene on it while it sits there. So we'll just close this, let it dry, and we'll be back in a few minutes. So as that dries, let me look at this real quick. This was a lantern that my parents found for me for Christmas. I have a bunch of these Coleman lanterns. This one looks like it's in really good shape. Let's see if it holds any pressure real quick. Nope. So we're gonna have to fix this sometime. There's oil on it. When I pump it, there's not getting pressure in here. See how it's just kind of moving, even with my finger on it. This has the original glass, so that's cool. It's really clean and original glass. So I like having the glass made in the USA. So let's look at this railroad lantern that I have real quick. This is a Dressel Arlington, New Jersey, Dressel. And it says fire on here. I have no idea about this one at all, if it has anything original. I have no idea if this glass that says fire even comes with it. I bought this at a railroad convention, and I was like, cool. I've always wanted one, so I bought it from the guy. Wasn't too much. It's obviously been repainted, so this has really kind of just been on my shelf. There's E on the lid. Don't know much about it. Haven't really spent too much time. All I did was put paraffin oil in it, and now I've learned that probably wasn't the best. But I've taken this camping sometimes when it's fun. But it really creates a lot of smoke. Let's see. Especially if you open it up. Look at all that smoke coming from the top. I mean, you wouldn't normally have it that big. But this kerosene should not have all the smoke from what I've been told. But if you really want to get a lot of light, you have to open this up. It's a lot of, but if you keep it pretty low, you don't get too much, but does not produce a lot of light. We'll come back tonight and we'll compare both of them and see how much light they'll produce, and maybe we'll convert this one to kerosene. I only use this one outside, so it's not a big deal. I've kind of been told you can use this one more indoors with this kerosene. Let's look at this Klean Heat real quick. It says it's for burning appliances, heaters, lamps, and stove. Is more convenient to store than kerosene. Contains less sulfur and aromatics, so has no kerosene odor before, during, and after burning. This is what we're going to use. It's supposed to work better. Doesn't say anything about inside. And we're back. So it's pretty much dried out. So we're going to light this kerosene lantern now. So let's bring it over here. The kerosene has soaked up the wick pretty well. But let's just light this and see what happens. So it's got much larger of a flame right now because it's really a big wick. We'll put that there and we can lower it and we'll see if we get more or less smoke. There's no smoke right now. There's a little V in the bottom of the flame. That could be just from the way I cut it. Didn't cut it perfectly, but it's kind of coming together. Kind of burns off the first little bit and then see what happens. So if I go down, it'll churn it off. Should, yep, and go up. So if I get real big, just like the other one, it's going to produce a lot of smoke, it looks like. Doesn't really matter at that point what fuel, unless it's just burning it off for a little bit. If I come down, definitely less smoke. But as you can see on this one, it has to go quite a bit up. There we go, that's not too bad. So right above the top, that one's got smoke about, if I go that big. So it looks like the sweet spot is about right there to not have any smoke coming out the top. So like I said, we'll come back in a little bit this evening when it gets darker. Maybe I'll take them into the hot tent. I've never taken this in there just because it produces smoke and it smells. You can really smell this burning. As of right now, I don't think I smell anything from here, but we'll come back when it gets dark. We'll see how much light this is producing, because if I could have one more option to produce light at night if we have a power outage or anything, it'd be kind of fun. I don't have a huge reason where I'm going to use this much, but the fact that I can get it to work and it'll look cool on my shelf with the rest of my lanterns that I have. Well, I'll stop rambling. I'll come back after this cut. I've waited all day for this. It is now dark enough. I'm going to come light these lanterns. We're going to start with the railroad lantern first. This is the one that is paraffin oil. It's usually not very bright. I have a little bit of trouble with it when I take it camping just because, like I said, it smokes a lot. It's not too bright because I can't make the flame that big. Let's check that out. So see how large it gets? But if we find the right spot, about right there, where there's no smoke, then I'll turn off this light as soon as we get these going. And now we'll light the other one. And this has the automatic lift and pushes it down. As you can see, this lantern is much brighter than this. And the wick size is actually the same. I did not think it was. It might actually supposed to be a larger wick on this side. But let's mess with this a little bit. So watch, if I make it bigger, it starts to flicker and I'm getting smoke out the top. But if I get to a perfect spot, there's a spot right here. So right here is a nice little spot. When I get it right in this spot right there, look at that. That looks really cool. That's a nice flame. Getting a little bit of wind in there right now. But when you get it to the right spot, it produces a lot of light and not really any smoke. So that's the flame that I'm looking for right there. That's cool. I don't know if that's the right flame I'm supposed to have, but I like it. If you make it too big, see there's a lot of, it's probably hard to see, but there's smoke coming out the top and it's leaving a smoke ring around the top of the glass. So my next thing to do is to clean this up a little bit. But that produces a decent amount of light. You could go camping with this. I don't smell anything now that it's been burning. Smell test. Actually, neither of them are too bad, but it's kind of hard to smell right now. But thank you everybody for watching. Here is a railroad lantern and a tubular lantern by the Ohio Lantern Company, and we will see you in the next video.